If you watch this video trying to decide if you should see The Dark Tower, there's something you should know. This was always intended to be the first in a series of movies and television shows. Whether or not the larger story is told remains to be seen. The Dark Tower stars Idris Elba, Matthew McConaughey, and Tom Taylor, and is the first of 2 Stephen King adaptations that are coming out in theaters this year. I think that many reviewers who are familiar with the books are going to get caught up in the, but they didn't do that there. And that's ridiculous. It's not retelling the story as was told in the books. The Dark Tower movie is really the story of a teenager from New York named Jake Chambers. Jake has been experiencing unrelenting nightmares of apocalypse and the Man in Black, the Dark Tower, and the Gunslinger. Chasing these images, he's eventually drawn through a portal into what's called Midworld. There he meets Roland Deschain, the last of the Gunslingers, and embarks on a quest for vengeance against the Man in Black. Let's talk about the perks. Idris Elba plays Roland. He's fantastic as always. He brings heart and steel to the role like very few other actors could, I think. He's out for revenge. He's lost sight of what made him who he was. There's something to grab onto there. Idris Elba brings great weight to something that could have fallen by the wayside. Tom Taylor as Jake is better than I expected him to be. Talk about damning with faint praise. Overall, I think the special effects in this movie are pretty good. There's some green screen that's like, whoa. Whoa. Unfortunately, that's about the extent of the positives. The Man in Black is written like Gru at the beginning of the first Despicable Me, but without all the humor. Instead of being a worthy opponent for Roland, the Man in Black is basically just a childish bully who does whatever he wants and has no repercussions for it. There's no flaw involved there. He is just mean. He's not even evil so much as mean. He walks by a kid who's having a great conversation with their mother in this film and he goes, hate. And the child just turns back and this look of hate comes over their eye. Like he's screwing with other people just for the sake of doing it. No repercussions, no follow-through, no payoff in editing, no nothing. He's just kind of a dick. One of the biggest things that stuck out to me is the sound quality for the voice lines. You have a lot of people who sound a lot like I sound right now. Like I'm in a place and there's a microphone and there's, space in between us, right? Idris Elba, most of his lines sound like this. He sounds like he was right here, giving his line right into the speaker. It's really distracting. It's impossible to do a review of The Dark Tower without acknowledging at least that it's been through 3 different production companies, several different directors. There are 4 credited screenwriters for the story. Critics have pretty much universally lambasted this movie. Do I think that it deserves a 17% that it has on Rotten Tomatoes? No, I really don't think it's that bad. Audience scores right now, 63%. Yeah, that makes a little bit more sense. It's a movie. The reality is that it's okay. It's not horrible. It could be a hell of a lot better. Ultimately, it's forgettable. If I were to sum up what I feel went wrong with this movie, A, there's too many cooks in the kitchen. Way too many hands writing and directing and figuring out what's going to actually make it to the screen. B, the script is a mess. It can't decide what it wants to be. At one moment, the Man in Black is charismatic and is convincing people and threatening people vaguely, and the next, he's being a dick to children. In the end, what we're left with is a $60 million movie that feels like a double episode pilot for a TV show. If you are a diehard Stephen King fan and you're familiar with the Dark Tower series, you might enjoy this movie a little bit more than most. If you've got a little bit of money and literally nothing better to watch, then sure, go check it out. But for the vast majority of people, if you wait a year and catch it on Netflix, that's going to be just fine. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. Let's have a conversation. As always, thank you very much for watching.